If you care about living soil and strong roots, this topic will change how you garden. Before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to the Evergreen Garden channel and drop a comment below about what you're growing this season, because this is one of those foundational skills that separates average gardens from truly resilient ones. What most gardeners call root problems are actually microbial problems. And once you understand that relationship, plant recovery becomes faster, stronger, and more predictable. Why root revival always begins with microbes, not fertilizers. Roots do not feed directly on fertilizers the way many product labels suggest. Roots rely on microbes to convert raw nutrients into plant-available forms. When soil biology collapses due to compaction, drought, overwatering, chemical salts, or poor organic matter, roots stop functioning efficiently. Reviving roots means rebuilding the living system around them. Bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and nematodes form a food web that cycles nutrients, protects roots from disease, and stimulates new root hair growth. Without this underground workforce, even the best fertilizer sits unused. A simple example is phosphorus. Most soils contain plenty of it, yet plants show deficiency because phosphorus is locked up. Phosphate, solubilizing bacteria, release organic acids that free it. Without them, roots struggle. This is why adding microbes often produces faster results than adding more nutrients. Understanding the life cycle symphony happening beneath your soil. Microbes are not static. They move through life cycles tied directly to moisture, oxygen, temperature, and carbon availability. Bacteria multiply rapidly when fresh carbon sources appear. Fungi dominate when soil is undisturbed and rich in complex organic matter. Protozoa and beneficial nematodes feed on bacteria, releasing nitrogen in plant-available forms right at the root zone. This grazing effect is one of the most overlooked drivers of plant recovery. When roots are damaged, plants release more root exudates, which are sugars and amino acids meant to call microbes back in. If your soil lacks microbial diversity, that call goes unanswered. Cultivating microbes means creating conditions where this symphony stays balanced and responsive. How compost becomes a microbial inoculant instead of just organic matter. Not all compost revives roots. Finished compost that smells earthy and crumbly is alive, but its impact depends on how it's applied. For root revival, microbes must be active and mobile. One effective approach is compost extract or compost tea made properly. A simple compost extract uses 1 part high-quality compost to 5 parts non-chlorinated water. Stir vigorously for 1 minute, let it sit for 20 minutes, then stir again and apply immediately as a soil drench. This works well for stressed plants because it delivers microbes without overwhelming them. For compost tea, add 1 cup of compost to 5 gallons of water, 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses, and aerate for 12 to 24 hours. Apply directly to moist soil around the root zone. This feeds bacteria and jumpstarts microbial cycling, often showing improved plant vigor within a week. Why fungal dominance matters for perennial and woody plants is, well, actually pretty fascinating. Annual vegetables thrive in bacteria-dominant soils, but fruit trees, shrubs, and long-lived perennials really rely heavily on fungal networks. Mycorrhizal fungi extend root systems dramatically, increasing water and nutrient uptake. They also help plants recover from transplant shock and root damage. When planting trees, mixing mycorrhizal inoculant directly into the planting hole at label rates creates immediate contact with roots. For established plants, top dressing with leaf mold or wood chip mulch encourages native fungal populations. A 2 to 3 inch layer kept a few inches away from the trunk can shift soil biology within a season. Microbes need carbon more than nutrients. Without carbon, they starve. This is why adding nitrogen-heavy fertilizers to biologically dead soil often worsens root stress. Instead, feed the microbes first. Simple carbon sources include compost, worm castings, and diluted molasses. For stressed vegetable beds, dissolve 1 tablespoon of molasses in 1 gallon of water and drench the soil every 2 weeks for a month. For trees, use 1 cup of worm castings per square foot under the canopy and water deeply. These inputs stimulate microbial reproduction, which in turn stimulates root growth. Microbes live in the thin film of water around soil particles. Too dry and they shut down. Too wet and oxygen disappears, killing aerobic organisms. Root revival depends on maintaining consistent moisture. A good rule is to water deeply but less frequently. For garden beds, watering to a depth of 6 inches every 3 to 4 days is better than daily shallow watering. Mulching reduces evaporation and stabilizes microbial activity. In compacted soils, gentle aeration with a garden fork improves oxygen flow without destroying fungal networks. Monocultures really do weaken soil biology. Different plants, they release different root exudates, and these feed different microbes. By interplanting herbs, flowers, and cover crops, we actually create a much richer underground ecosystem. For example, if you plant clover between rows, it fixes nitrogen and feeds bacteria. Meanwhile, marigolds and basil, they release compounds that shape microbial communities. Even something as simple as rotating between leafy greens and fruiting crops can prevent microbial crashes and keep roots healthier season after season. Above-ground growth tells part of the story, but, soil tells the rest. Healthy microbial activity produces soil that smells rich and earthy, crumbles easily, and holds moisture without becoming sticky. Plants develop finer root hairs, deeper root systems, and, improved resilience to heat and drought. If leaves green up without heavy feeding and plants recover quickly from stress, microbes are doing the work. This is long-term fertility, not quick fixes. Root revival is not a product, it is a process of rebuilding life below ground so plants can do what they evolved to do. When you cultivate microbes intentionally, you stop fighting nature and start working with it. If this guide helped you see soil differently, subscribe to Evergreen Garden for more deep, practical gardening knowledge. Share this with a fellow gardener who's struggling with plant health, and leave a comment about the crops or trees you want to revive next.